Northern Illinois Aquatics. There. Northern Illinois Aquatics. Video and audio is good. And then I will mute it. All right. Johnny No Shoes of Northern Illinois Aquatics. Cody is not with us tonight. He's got some family stuff he has to do. So it'll just be me. I have opened up the panel for everybody to be here. It is May 16th, 2025. This should be episode number 1 on the new channel. So, and there is Mr. Jorge Mexicali Fishkeeper. Thanks you for coming. I appreciate it. Yeah, this is episode 1 on the new channel. Thank you, Elfish and Jeff P, for having me on your guys' stream last weekend. Gaining us some new subscribers for the new channel here so that we could go live. It was kind of cool of them. He said he might try to hop on in the chat. So if he's able to slide off to the side somewhere, which is okay. But like I said, that's why we're easygoing. We're on this. We're going to be able to I haven't created any of the tickers or anything like that. We do have a Discord channel that I have created. I've got the link. It will be coming across the stream elements here soon, I'm sure. And hopefully you're not working too hard, Mr. Mixcali. I just rushed to help Dee. If I sound a little bit out of breath, we got some rain coming, I believe. I can feel it starting to drizzle. And then we're still in a marginal risk of severe weather, apparently. Today. Clouds actually look worse now than what they did last night in my eyes. But there was some rotation just to my north and west. Probably could have watched it. If I keep glancing over that way, bear with me, because hockey game starts here in an hour, so I'll be kind of glancing to watch the score. What was I going to do? I was going to try pull up radar real quick to see if the girls made it in time, which I'm sure they did. And it doesn't look too bad. Looks like just some small minor showers. Oh, excuse me. Yeah, just small minor showers. Okay. I think our eventual goal, though, once we have Cody and I going with us, we will probably come up with hopefully some kind of topic. But I know he was like, he goes, he kind of likes having the open panel every week, so, which is good, because our whole goal is to talk with you guys. So in the word of Cody Rhodes, what do you want to talk about? I did do a 10-gallon water change on the 55 between shows here. And I put another light strip on there to try and force the algae and everything to grow faster and eat the nutrients up. See if I can knock it down with some extra light. It's eventually got to balance. With me doing a water change every week, I just pulled 10 gallons out. But it will get better. And I threw the guppy grass in here, and I got the other filter going real fast. So the flow's pretty good through there. Hopefully it'll force, like I said, hopefully it'll force things to get back into good. It's not that I mind the green algae, it just doesn't look good. I know it's a form of life, so. Let's see if there's a way I can share this onto, share this on the Facebook on my page. We actually had a dust storm warning they put it out for all their counties in the coverage area for Chicago, but it was a narrow band actually. Down like from Sheridan, Joliet, Hammond, Bolingbrook, in that area there. Try and see if that'll generate some views. We started out, I think, with like, let's say I had 12 subscribers. We had 12 subscribers on here, maybe. Might even been less than 10. And David and Jeff probably drove 39 or drove us up to 30 something. Had a few people add today, but we'll get there. We'll get some consistency going every week, and it will grow like in Field of Dreams. Build it and they will come, right? On my channel, the first 100 subscribers I had were all because people, I followed them and they followed me back. So, and then we had people like Lori and QC Aquatics over at Coldwater who threw out links, and so it's kind of cool. Let's see if that's going to kick in here. Stream elements. There should only be 2 things for that. I think I'm still in the old, yeah. I gotta switch here. All right. YouTube, NorthernILAquatics. There it goes. And then I only have 2 things in the chat bot, so for the timers. Oh, I don't. That's why. Let me do this. Oh, what's the logo? Sorry. There we go. Hello. Oh, I got no audio.
There you go. Can you
There
hear
we
me
go.
now?
Yeah.
How you been?
Okay. I thought I had the stream element set up with the the chat bot to drop messages, and I didn't set them up last night like I was going to.
So how long you been doing this channel?
It was actually made official.
Hold on. Let me get rid of that.
I want to say it was official with images a week, maybe 2 weeks ago.
Oh, okay.
He had
So you were doing it like a strict podcast where it was just talking?
No, we were just we did it on my channel for the, I was doing it under, we were calling it Fish Talk Friday, and then we switched it to Fish Talk in general. We were going to kind of do a podcast, but we always like the open panel thing so that people can kind of put their view in there too, with whatever we're talking about. And then they decided to, he was like, hey, I think I would like to maybe change the name. I'm like, okay, let's see, kind of toss some ideas around. And then he made, I want to say it was last week, he made 2 images, and we let the chat decide which image we were going to use. And once that was official, then I went over, created the account, and he has a username and password for everything, so that 2 of us are, he's an owner on it too. So yeah, it's and then today is supposed to be our first official stream on the channel, but we had to
Hold on. I'll be right back.
okay. Let's can't that kind of stuff. Duh. Damn. There we go. Good thing I didn't try to get these messages set, folks. Sorry about that. Like I said, I thought I had had some made up, but apparently I did not. 15 0 NIL NILAQ Discord. All right. Oh, I gotta put the Dubby Energy. All right. There's that one. Discord looks nicer than mine does. All right. I do 3015. Online, yeah, 3015. We're going to. This one will be called Dubby. And let me grab that link. All right. Dubby. Haven't even ate dinner yet. Wife was working on plants out in the outside the house and the garden a little bit. So I guess it's good that the rain's coming in when it is. Activate timer. All right. So these should be good. And I need to see the dashboard. Okay, the bottom's in the chat, so it should come through now. All right, he's still gone. Okay. Oh, no problem. No problem, Jorge. So there we go. Got it good. And like I said, those should come across here soon. Can you hear the thunder? You know, I don't think I've ever loaded an ad. All right, there we go. I kind of thought the stream might be a little slow this time around. So, oh, so it's a little loud. Okay, no problem. No problem. Well, like I said, I have a feeling this one's going to be a little slow. I'm going to try and create a Google like thing that's public or something and find out how to host it so like you guys can put in suggestions and feedback to the stream, you know, like topics you want to talk about, stuff like that, you know, so that we have a little time to do a little research. And if you want to come up, you can come up. Oh, they're getting a little thunder out of that one. I was actually pretty shocked. Oh, well, means probably 10 miles to my northeast. Pretty well. And if it's too slow tonight and we shut down early, it's okay. We'll eventually get there. You know what I mean? It's got to get consistency. Consistency is key in this game. It is a slow running race, not a marathon. Is that right? Is that the right saying? Steady and slow wins the race. That was the one feature I enjoyed on Rumble, was that it had that suggestion thing, but you had to be you had to be on Rumble in order to use it, which sucked. It was stupid. Okay. No problem. Like I said, I have a feeling it's going to be one of those things where it might be a little slow because it's the first kind of episode on the channel, but it will happen. Like I said, it's not a. Oh yeah, autocorrect. Yeah, I agree. Especially when it changes the words to nasty words. I won't even tell you the story of what happened to me with autocorrect. All right.
Hopefully it's not too loud. I don't know if you can hear it in the background.
No.
Okay. Yeah, I might have to jump off again a little bit when they start mopping the area here, but for the meantime,
yeah,
I figured I'd come in. So this is the first one you're doing.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
And Cody,
Yeah, I was kind of curious because I didn't even know you had a different channel.
Like I said, we just started it. We were doing the Friday nights together. We've probably been, I want to say about a month, maybe a little more, because he had missed a couple of weeks, and then I had missed 1 week. So yeah, it was like it's probably been almost 2.5 months.
So who's your co-host?
Huh?
Who's your co-host?
Cody from OutdoorsmanAquatics.
OutdoorsmanAquatics.
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't know if I
did. I put it on the. I think I know I've got it in the description. His page. Yeah, he's a local guy, close, friend of mine. Yeah, I got him in my list of Northern Illinois fish keepers.
Oh, is that in the description or what?
Actually, the Northern Illinois fish keepers are on the main page of
Okay.
the channel, but in the description I have his channel too. So
I'm gonna go check them out. Is it getting louder?
it's not bad.
Okay. Let me know if it does. I'll cut the mic.
Oh, that's no problem.
Let's see. Over here at your main page, Outdoorsman Aquatics, but it doesn't have a link to his.
It should be where it says like if you scroll down, it'll say Northern Illinois Fish Keepers.
Uh-huh.
And that Outdoorsman Aquatics should be right there.
The only link it shows me is the community for this one and a 10% off W energy drinks, whatever that is. Those are the only links that are attached.
Are you on the main
on your
page?
Yeah, your main page. Whereas I'm looking at the
Oh,
description.
yeah. Scroll down.
It won't let me. It won't let me go any further. The only thing I see is live stream, Cody Outdoorsman Aquatics.
That's who. That's him.
Oh, okay. But okay. Well, let me see if it'll give it to me if I copy and paste his information. Because that seems like a pretty common name.
Yeah. Yeah. Outdoorsman.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I wasn't subbed.
It's
Okay.
weird. It's not showing that.
Okay. Yeah, he's got to be him because he's got fish tanks. You would
I'm
think
re-
it sounded like a fishing channel. So
It is kind of because he's into hunting and all. So
yeah.
we'll probably talk about all that. Like if there's people that want to talk about it with him, I'll probably learn from more than anything. So, but we're gonna try to keep it like very open and
So the idea is to have people from Illinois coming on as your guest. Is that what?
anybody.
Oh, okay.
We that was just what he went with a channel name like his when he came up with it. I was like, okay, that's actually kind of cool. So, and then I just like made a section just for people that are like Northern Illinois. I figured they
Oh,
can, if it's like a feature channel thing, and we'll throw honoraries. We might even do a section where we have honoraries. Like we consider Branton one of the honoraries because he's literally just to our north, like an hour.
I was going to say, aren't the only cities in Illinois in the north?
No, actually, they're not. There's down in I want to say you got Rockford, Chicago in the north part. Um, get down to central, you got Champaign,
But how big are those cities?
Springfield. Well, Springfield's the capital, so it's
Yeah,
fairly
but
decent size.
Sacramento's the capital of California, and it's
And
one
then
of the smallest cities.
there's another one, Bloomington, I think, St. Louis.
St. Louis.
Yeah, there's a section. East St. Louis it comes into the Illinois side of the border.
Huh. I didn't know that.
But there's another city down south that like basically
Are they million plus
it's pretty.
population?
That one's pretty close. Chicago basically close, or Cook County, which is where Chicago's at, basically controls the whole state.
Yeah, that's what I'm
So,
saying. That's
yeah.
the only. It's like when you
If,
talk Arizona, you're really only talking about Phoenix, and
yeah,
then satellites would be like Tucson.
Rockford would probably be second biggest city, I think, in the.
But
Which
all
is
the cities are in the north. That's what I'm saying. All
yeah.
the metropolis
I
areas
can't
are in the
remember
north.
what the one down south that vote. It's like if they them and it's one. There was one down south. If it voted Republican and Chicago voted Republican, literally it would change the state. Like even on the governor voting, it's if those two voted Republican, they would take care of everything.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's kind of sucky that.
Yeah, it's like Nevada. Nevada, yeah, you have Reno, but that's
Yeah.
like an afterthought. The city is Las Vegas. That's the only real city in Nevada.
Yeah. I mean,
That is the only real city. That is all Nevada. You have Eli, you have Elko, you have Winnemucca, where I used to live, but those are not cities. Those are like little outposts. That's really what they are.
Let's try big cities in Illinois. I want to.
Yeah, it's just Chicago. Anybody that thinks about the state of Illinois, Chicago's the city.
Oh, so actually, by population, it's funny. It goes Chicago, Aurora, Joliet,
All up in the north, right?
Rockford. Yeah, these are all up north. Rockford is like fifth in population.
Only other city I know is Marion, and that's because I have a friend that lives there, and that's in southern. That's like the most southern part of.
It's down by Valadelia.
It's in the Shawnee National Forest or something like that.
Yep, and
because
that's
he worked for the Forest, or used to work for the Forest Service. So that's the only reason I know that area.
I should have done this see if I could do it by vote to see how like.
Yeah, that's why it's so funny that you guys call it the Northern Illinois. Well, that's Illinois is all the north. I mean, yeah, you have little towns and cities, and it's like nobody counts El Centro. as a
Wow,
city in California. Nobody knows where it's at.
I haven't seen anything from down south so far in this list, and I'm 296 deep already. I know there's 102 counties in our state, so
Yeah. Yeah, but most states, it's like you think of the state of New York. It's New York City. All the
yeah.
other
Oh,
cities are
you
not
know
really
what?
cities.
Let me do it by county. Go,
Well, county is deceiving because if you go by
yeah,
county,
because that's
Denver,
where like Chicago has advantage because the city's like a couple million, but it has the whole county of Cook. So,
as a matter of fact, I think Imperial County is like one of the largest counties in California, but population wise,
all right.
there isn't anybody here.
So that's by population. Illinois counties by population. So Cook
Yeah, you get
County,
Illinois is the north. That's the real.
yeah. I was just trying to see if I could see like some of these counties that that are down south.
All the rest are just gas stops along the way to the north. Well, look, you look at the state of Utah.
Right.
The only city in Utah is Salt Lake City.
Right.
That's it.
And that's a good sized city too.
Yeah, no, that's what I'm, when you think of a city, you're thinking of a million plus. And anything under a million is not really a city; it's a town.
It was funny it was in the first round of the NHL playoffs. It was like they were like, "Oh, the Battle of Ontario," and I never real. I mean, I have family that lives in Canada. I used to visit 2 months a year easily,
Yeah.
and I didn't know Ottawa and
I'll be
Toronto.
right
You know,
back.
I knew Toronto was in there, but I didn't know Ottawa was. Oh, you know what? Did I? I need to check that too. Let's see here. Gotta make sure I made that a bot or a mod, which I don't think I did. Let's see here. Settings, community moderation. I did not. There it is. Okay, channel subscribed. But yeah, let me mute my mic. Give me 1 minute here. All right. All right. Yeah, my wife just told me that they had um, A tornado touched down by where my niece lives.
Oh, that's right.
And
You guys are in Tornado Alley, huh?
yeah, and it used to be funny because it used to be like anything west of Illinois was considered Tornado Alley out to Colorado.
Yeah.
It didn't take, as a kid when I was, growing up, and it didn't take long for it to become, them to move, spread that a little bit. It's basically mountain range, and to the west, and then it runs all the way out to Ohio now. It's there. I don't even think there is an alley anymore because they, we've proved over the years they touch down anywhere in the world. So
Man, what is that like? I don't think I've ever. Well, no, I know for a fact I've never experienced anything like that.
I think I I was young, but I remember we were ducked in the back of a storage area of a store because we had them. I've seen one a funnel nearby, but that's about it. I've never like seen tornado on the ground. Just so, but yeah, I guess they've got over between Pacifica, Missouri, and Granite City, which is over by the St. Louis part of um, Illinois, and that and St. Louis there, the eastern part, Knoxville or Edwardsville and stuff down that area. That's southwest corner. They basically there's 125,000 some odd people out of power. So this, I'm thinking this might have been a long tracked one. It missed our my brother-in-law and sister-in-law, and then did not damage my niece's house. So, but that also probably means her husband, he's a firefighter and a police officer.
Yeah.
They're gonna probably have to decide which they want him to do.
It's that small of a town, huh?
Oh yeah, it's that down south. That's not uncommon. Up here, it's very uncommon to have a At one point in time, you used to be able to do it here in Woodstock, but it's not like that anymore. So
Yeah, no, I don't think I've ever. See, as bad as people think earthquakes are, I don't think they're that bad. Not if you live in the center of a large city where you have skyscrapers, I think that would be a little bit more sketchy. But
yeah,
if you live out in a single home, I'm not worried about an earthquake. Not really. I mean, we have them out here on a regular basis, but I think it's because also construction is designed to withstand a lot of the earthquakes.
right.
So it just kind of, it's no different than the tracks, the railroad tracks shaking your house. That's how common earthquakes are. That you just kind of like, all right, whatever, it's another one. Unless it gets like, anytime it starts getting over 5.5 into the 5.56 and above,
Right.
that's where you go, okay, is this the big one?
They just had a 4.6 down in Tennessee.
Yeah, that's nothing.
There's
We don't even stop doing what we're doing at that point.
Apparently there's like a fault that runs right just east of the Mississippi River. A lot, in Illinois and then up north. And I remember my mom when she was in the hospital the one year, she thought somebody died in the bed before because she she felt the earthquake. She's like, oh crap, did somebody die and they're haunting the bed?
Yeah, anything under 5, you don't stop what you're doing. You just kind of,
Yeah.
all right, it's
what's scary about that is like, say like a 2.5 that can kick off a tsunami.
Yeah, but we're not close to the water, so I'm not worried about it.
Yeah.
People in San Diego, Long Beach, those guys would probably be more worried about that, but
yeah,
we're not taking a tsunami.
I truly think California's
all beach.
It's gonna become a beach, at some point in time. It's gonna It's gonna fall off.
I'll tell you what, when we had that 7, I don't know what it was, like a 7.2 or 7 something, and it's almost been like 10 years now, I think.
It was the San Francisco, right?
No, no, no. This is
Oh,
down in Pro Valley in Mexicali, as a matter of fact.
okay.
I think it was in 2015 when it happened, somewhere around there. And I'll tell you what, that one did scare me. And I don't get scared with earthquakes, but that one, I was like, this is different.
I would be freaked.
That was very different. And to the point where we went outside the house and I could see the front end of the car
Oh
bouncing.
wow.
I was like, yeah, I've never seen that before. But then again, we've never experienced anything over a 6.4, 6.5.
Yeah.
Those were pretty strong. But when it got up to that 7 something, I forgot what it was. I could probably Google it and find it. But that one was different. And that one probably gave me a little bit of, post traumatic stress because, for a while there, it would shake and I'd kind of sit there going, is this going to get worse or not? Now
Right.
it's like whatever because it's been so many years removed from that it's like whatever. But yeah, that one was different, and
Yeah.
the ground sounded different. It was just different. I mean, it's not. I guess it's kind of like when people talk about the eye of the storm when they're going through a hurricane or whatever. That
You
it
get
just
that
all of a sudden,
calm.
that calm.
Yeah.
Well, that was just right before the earthquake. That kind of happened, and it was kind of everything got quiet, and then my dog started going crazy, like several seconds before the earthquake hit.
Oh
They
wow.
were they were running around scared, and I never seen that before. And then all of a sudden, you could hear you heard it before you felt it,
Oh wow.
and it was like this weird grumbling that I had never heard before. And I've been through a lot of earthquakes. I was
Yeah.
in the one in Northridge up in LA. That was like in the early '90s, eight. What is it?
Oh,
Late
that
'80s?
was Monday Night Football night when they were. I remember them sitting there like up by Oakland and that, right? Because I remember them sitting.
This is the one in LA, but I think it was in the
I
late
remember
'80s,
them.
early '90s. I gotta remember.
Yeah, I remember there was one like when my wife and I first got married. You could see the guys like sitting there and they're talking about the game. All of a sudden, you see them kind of going, they're kind of rocking back and forth,
Yeah,
and they're gonna.
that was during the World Series. That was
Oh
between
yeah.
Oakland A's and the Giants.
Okay.
And that
And
was in the
then
early '90s. But a few
yeah,
years before that, in Northridge, I think that's what it was called, up in the LA County area. They had a pretty big one, and that one was only like 6.8, and that was like the worst earthquake that I had been through. And I remember I was staying at my aunt's house. I was visiting. It was during the summer, so I was on summer break. I think at this point I was already in high school, and I remember I was sleeping in the living room on the floor, and I remember being rocked to the
oh
point where
wow.
I woke up. And what woke me up was not so much the earthquake. They had a pool in the backyard, and you can hear the water sloshing, and it started getting really loud because it hit pretty hard. That one, I think, ended up collapsing some highway bridges, and it did some pretty good damage up in the
Wow.
LA area.
That would be my biggest fear is I'm going across something like say the San Francisco Bridge, and I'm in the middle.
Oh hell yeah,
You
no,
basically you've got nowhere, you've got no way to get back to either side
that's
safely.
when you bend over and kiss the rear.
Yeah, it would. Yeah, I think that would
Yeah,
my biggest.
anything. If you got caught in like in a high rise or a bridge, even it doesn't even have to be that high. Anything that's suspended, that's got to be the worst feeling to be caught in one of those things.
Well, I've
While
been in
while the ground is shaking.
the CN Tower, which is it was at the time it was built. It was considered a large, world's largest structure, freestanding structure.
Yeah.
But it like when you're up there and you're in this, you're on the outside thing. They've got a cage that's up there, so like you can't jump. And but like you jump up and you can the winds and there's always winds because of how high it is, just like would push you back to a complete different side of the thing.
Wow.
And you can kind of you can feel with the winds, you can feel it rocking in your legs, you get sea legs, kind of when you're up there. So it's and at the time I was afraid of heights, but And it's a glass front when you're coming out. It's like dark, like a wall, and then all of a sudden it goes boom, and you're like halfway up already, and it's all lit up. And
Have a good one. Yes. You too. It's our cleaning guy.
what the hell did I do? Oh, now I see what I did. Duh.
No, there's somebody else watching. I wonder who it is.
If there's two, it's probably you and I.
No, it's 3.
Oh, there's 3.
Somebody's lurking. Who's lurking?
Let us know. Come on.
Lurker.
All right, lurkers are good too. So,
Yeah, I know, but
that was our whole idea with the channels, to be able to talk about pretty much anything.
oh, okay. I wasn't sure if you guys were going to have topics. That's what I was asking you earlier today.
Yeah.
I was getting ready for work where I would have jumped on, but I was trying to get the stuff done that I needed to get done before heading out to work.
Yeah.
But usually, this time of the year and this time of the afternoon, it's pretty quiet here.
Yeah, and it's also like that's part of the reason why I think we don't have a whole lot of people too. It's summertime now, and so.
Well, I'll tell you what. The problem is people don't know. It's not announced. I mean, I found out about it this morning when you were talking about it.
I got to get something up on or send an email with.
Have you put it on the Fish Fam link?
We're going to.
Okay, so that'll help. That'll help because if you have the app like I do, it'll notify me. I get a lot of notifications for channels that I don't necessarily follow, but it'll let me know that they're going live. And I know
you're a Patreon then, huh?
Who?
You.
Am I on Patreon?
Yeah, because I know the app doesn't. You have to be I thought you had to be a paid.
No, the app is free.
Oh, I'll have to.
Yeah, you download it for your phone.
I'll have to check into that.
Yeah, you can find it. I think you can find it on. Well, I don't know if you have Apple or.
I have Android.
Yeah, I found it on Google Play.
All right.
Yeah, if you pay, you get some other you can see who's. You would have been able to see who was lurking because it'll tell you everybody that's watching.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I need to check.
Know because Eddie busts me all the time. I'll be lurking just watching his live stream. And then he starts, let's see who's here. And he starts going to that thing and it always, Kelly's here. It's like, yeah, I'm here.
That's funny.
But I'll be watching because I'll be at work and I'll be listening or something.
Yeah, I got to check with him and see if I have to be, because I know he's got the bot in Discord. And so I would see if he'd let me use it.
Yeah, I haven't really. I had the Discord app, but it's just I get too many notifications as it is, and a lot of that stuff
I shut them off on Discord.
Yeah,
I literally just even my 2 that I have. I mean, I might get a push notification. Other than that, but I don't.
So that's why I got rid of it because I said if I'm gonna shut off the notifications, then why do I really want it?
It's more the desktop ones that are very annoying. Like if you're on a laptop, because if we were streaming, we would hear dun 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 dun.
Yeah.
So those are off. But I mean, I still get the push notification. I just don't get the actual the noise with it. So
yeah. So I just got rid of it, and then I was trying to. Now after doing this for X amount of years, I understand the frustration that I would see from some of the other people that I would watch when they would get hit up. What's wrong with my aquarium? And it's like, okay, well, I need a little bit of information because I have no idea what you're asking about. And that's what Discord is. Oh, what's going on with my fish? And it's like they'll upload a picture. You can't even see what's going on. I mean, they can see it, but the picture, and then all of a sudden you start getting all these treated for ick, and it's like you don't even know. I can't even see what's wrong with it. How can you be diagnosing what's wrong with it if you can't even tell? Other than they tell you it doesn't want to eat or whatever. It's like, okay, well, there's a lot more other things that And that now I get that frustration because it's like I want to help you, but you got to help me help you.
Yeah.
And that's why I know when Steve and I, Warrior Planet Tanks, were doing this, we did an episode on that. It's like the proper way to ask for help, and you got to have some basic information to be able to provide to somebody if you really want to have get some help.
Right.
Because just to say, "Oh, my fish is doing this," or "My fish has this," well, when was the last time you did a water change? When was the last? Are you running a heater in your aquarium? There's just so many other factors that you have to discount
Right.
to be able to narrow it down to okay, it could possibly be this or that.
And
And
my water's going to be a lot different than
yeah,
yours.
but
So
even at that, it's just because, and the only reason is kind of like, well, if you've never done a water change, well, that could be a problem. For instance, if you ask somebody, no, I just I do regular water changes. Okay, well, it's probably not your water. It's not an issue with the water. So let's discard that and focus on some other stuff. But you can't really go about giving out answers without really knowing the whole picture.
right.
And so it's kind of like, you know what? As much as I wanted to do that when I first started out, just kind of help people, it's kind of like, yeah, no, I, because you spend way too much time and energy trying to help somebody out, and they're not giving you the full picture.
Right.
And it's kind of like, well, no, you got to help me help you.
Right.
Give me
And
give
it's
me as much information as possible, so that I can help you walk through what might be going on. But and sometimes it's like pulling teeth. It's kind of like, as well. Have you done this? It's like, well, no. Okay, well, then maybe that could be an issue, but it's no guarantees.
right. And that was one of the things that it's just like I left all the Facebook groups. I was
Yeah,
saying that on my other stream, just my afternoon stream, because it's just too many people that are when Jason made that point during their stream this week on Tank Talk podcast was when you're seeing people who are saying, "Oh, don't beat me up for asking this question," but boom, 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 and it's like nobody should have to feel that way going
yeah,
in. So it's
yeah. But then you also get a lot of trolling. A lot of
right,
people that are just trying to see what you'll say, and they'll give you some outlandish stuff. So it just it gets to the point where it's like, well, if I was able to figure it out, with trial and error, they should be able to figure it out too.
yeah.
I mean,
A
if
lot of
you're
them are
really,
saying they're a newbie.
yeah, but even as a newbie, because I was a newbie again coming back in.
I consider myself a newbie now.
Yeah, that's true. I mean, you got to do the research. You're not going to get. And the other thing that would irritate me is kind of like you spend the time telling them all this. Oh, but so and so said that's not okay. Then if so and so already told you that was the solution, then why you're asking for another solution?
Right,
And then go with what so and so told you. I mean, if you're going to ask for help and then that's going to be your answer, it's kind of like, well, then why are you asking for help?
exactly. And
It's like, all right, whatever. So I just quit. I quit doing that. That's why I don't do any on my videos. I don't do anything about fixing this, fixing that. I got to a point now where I'll just talk about shit that I've done in my experiences and what I took away from it, and that's it. It's not. This is the way to do it. This. I'm telling you my experience,
right.
and maybe you could get some
And I
knowledge from that. Maybe you can't, but it's at least I can tell you I I dealt with it. I've been through it. This is what I learned. Do with it what you want.
right. And that's kind of the way it should be. Really is this is the exact like we said in the beginning here. What works for me may not. You know
Yeah.
this may not work for you, but I mean if sometimes fish keeping has become a very big. It's a very big trial and error, like you said. It's
Well, one of the things that I heard you mention earlier this morning, and I think who was it that asked? Rosenberg, or what's his
oh yeah, yeah,
something about Planet Aquariums, and that's something that been kind of thinking about doing, but I haven't really gotten done. Maybe I'll do a video about it. Maybe I don't know. But it's the I know a lot of people have done planet takes, and it kind of takes me back to what I've been watching. Patty's Aquatics, that is kind of doing the
Yeah.
reversal of what he started out with, and it's one of those things where it's like, yeah, but you know, the problem is I don't know if it was because he full bought in at the beginning of a certain philosophy, Father Fish or whatever, and he bought in hook, line, and sinker. And now that he's done it for a while, he's kind of gone back and said, "Oh shit, it's not everything else that it is meant to be." But that's the whole thing with all this stuff, all these theories, all these things out there. They're pointless. Hey, Craig,
There's number 3.
because it's all based on your own personal experience. And I think one of the problems that we do when we're starting out a channel is trying to do videos on topics that we might not have a lot of experience with.
Right.
And and
see that.
and then once you've done it for a while, you come and find out it's like, oh shit, I made a mistake about this. That's why I always kind of been more of a, well, talk about your own personal experience or what you're going through, but don't talk about it as being gospel, because you don't have enough time under your belt to be able to say, yeah, I've done this for a year and this is what I've taken away with from this. And but I think we're all guilty of that. I think I've even done that in some of my earlier videos where, I was talking about when I was setting up plenums.
Oh yeah.
And not that they don't work, but they don't work any better than anything else out there. That's the whole thing. That was my whole thing about the filtration stuff that I did, the video on that. At the end of the day, they all work. It doesn't matter what the hell. It's personal preference.
When I set up my under gravel filter, I guess you could call it a plenum because it's
it's
still got that gap.
Okay, a plenum is a void in the bottom of the aquarium.
Yeah,
that's
what
I'm
running. I'm running a 60-liter Whisper on it on one tube only, and it's a 46-gallon bowl. But I've got it pulling that, slowly pulling through. It's probably not as slow as like the anoxic filtration part of it is.
Yeah.
But I still think Craig.
Yeah, that's exactly true, because you end up arguing with the person you're trying to help out, because then they start getting, oh well, so and so said that I never.
Yeah.
Then don't ask for the help. Don't ask for the help if if it's not working for you. Then I don't know what to tell you. I mean, I'm trying to give you a little bit of advice, but I think that's where I think a lot of it is trolling too. A lot of it is just people that are trying to see they're trying to get a response from you or whatever. So, but yeah, no, the whole thing with that is just, I know, getting back to the dirted aquariums, and I know Skeptical Aquatics.
Yeah.
He did a whole thing about not needing substrate and all that. And I kind of understand a little bit of that, because even before he talked about it, I remember Lucas Brett's LRB Aquatics had done a video, or had shared. He wasn't doing a video. He was talking about his setups. Well, he had an aquarium, ACC, that he was floating jungle val. And he says, I didn't realize you could grow this floating without just it'll grow.
Right.
And that's where I started thinking, oh, okay, well, maybe, the roots are going to get the nutrients uptake wherever they want. Hey, Jesse. And so that's where I started going, okay, I can see where Skeptical Aquatics is talking about that you don't necessarily need substrate. But at that point, it really becomes, in my opinion, a choice, a preference. Because what he had to do to be able to pull it off, he had to anchor those plants somehow to keep them from floating.
Right.
So
I do remember him saying he used lead weight.
Yeah, he used lead weights and the little ceramic rings, I think.
But he said once you get enough of them, like along the bottom, it's
but
I don't know if it grabs the glass or what. But it's
no, I think it's just they have enough weight where they start sinking, and then the plants that are sinking, the other ones will tie into it.
Okay.
But he had to find a workaround to be able to get them to stay at the bottom of the aquarium. Well, that's what substrate does. It gives you um, a place where you can anchor these plants. Now,
Right.
do they? I'm not going to sit here and argue. Do they take nutrients from the roots or from the water column and all this and that? Maybe they do both. Maybe they can do both.
I
And
think that's the case too, to be honest.
so to me, to say that you don't need to have any substrate to grow plants, that's a preference like it is with filtration. If you like the look of it, do it. If you don't like the look of it, don't do it. It's just uh, it's not one of those things where you're a bad person if you're doing dirted substrates. You're an idiot because you do dirt. Nah, it's just a preference.
Right.
That's really what it is. And I know the whole soil and stuff is really a non-factor whether you use dirt or not, because part of what my fish room has been is I did set up a 55 with just sand and gravel. No dirt, no soil, nothing. Just sand and gravel. Because I was curious. I wanted to see if I could grow jungle fowl. But this is where it comes into the whole thing again. Did it grow? Yes. But it grew
Yeah.
much slower, and it took it a longer time for it to establish. And then once it did, it started spreading pretty good. But we're talking months before I saw any positive results. And I think really what it was is there had to generate enough nutrients within that aquarium to be able to provide a food source for those plants, to be able to, at that point,
Right.
propagate, send runners, and grow out.
It's finding nutrients like
Yeah,
any other time. So
yeah, because I wasn't adding. I've never been a big to add liquid ferts or root tabs or any of that stuff to my aquariums. The whole reason I did dirted was because I wanted to avoid having to add root tabs. I didn't want to have to go around buying them and then periodically having to replace whatever got depleted.
yeah, Osmocote and the medicine tablets, that works just as good, and you just got to get it, make sure you get it down into the dirt though,
Well,
so
it
if it's
really
not, it's
boils
going to
down
come
to,
up back up through your sand or gravel. So
yeah, yeah, and a lot of it also is the type of fish you're going to put in there,
yeah,
and that's one thing that I don't see a lot of people talk about when they're doing dirted aquariums is
it's
if
not
you're adding any
multi-liquid.
kind of pleco or cories, they're going to stir up the bottom. I don't care
Right.
what you do. I mean, it doesn't have to be
So
a geophagus or an Oscar or a big cichlid that digs pits. I've had plecos dig up all my dirted tanks just because they were trying to get under a wedge themselves in a crevice to nest.
so
And those are things that people don't really talk about when they're doing dirted aquariums. I
yeah,
put root
Craig,
caps in them when I first
I
planted.
saw that video, Craig, that he's I mean he's flat out many videos called him a scammer.
Yeah, it got to the point where it's kind of like, really, we're getting on that again, and
Yeah.
I don't understand his infatuation with that, other than
Well,
uh,
apparently he's disappeared according to CC. So
oh, okay, well,
skeptical as somebody made the comment earlier today in a video. They were it might even have been a live stream that I thought I had heard them say they were like, oh, did the skeptical
oh shit, I'll be right back.
GPT Jat run out of run out of stuff to talk about, and that's why he hasn't put something up. I mean, who knows? He might have a family issue going on we don't know about. So, but maybe he knocked them off. Yeah, just kidding. We know. That he might have got hacked. It is very possible because was it Graham? He just got it. He was able to get his channel back though. So yeah, you're being funny. Jesse, just one fish. Thank you for being here. Appreciate it. Or just one more fish. Sorry. Nice to see you. Thank you for being here. Yeah, I just did after 3 years. I just put 2 osmocote in my 25-gallon hex. I put one on one corner, but I made sure I got it down into the dirt. And maybe I didn't. Maybe that's why my tank over here, the ones turned green. Who knows? But and it's kind of one of those things. So, that is weird. That is very odd. I know I haven't heard Discus North ragging on fatherfish either lately, so Discus North, he told me privately, he said that he was harassed by fatherfish people, like in the Discord, just for asking a question, so it's all right.
I had to call in my numbers.
Ooh, this is a
I still haven't picked my braids up.
game should be starting soon, Layla.
Yeah.
Oh, you got it on up there?
No.
Oh.
Because it starts at 7.
Yeah, it's only 7:07. I think puck drop is 7:15.
Yeah.
Pretzels and a burrito. Ooh, yeah.
You
I haven't had
dinner?
anything to eat all day. And Craig, that is exactly right. Jim says it perfectly. Happy Place Aquatics. It's your hobby. You do it your way.
Well, and I'll tell you why Father Fish has become so polarizing. And I don't even really, well, for one thing, he's kind of backpedaled a lot of the philosophies that he was trying to put out there, which I don't think is wrong, because we can relearn, but he went under the assumption that he's been doing this for that same system for X amount of years, right? You would think by that time he would have had all the kinks worked out of it, which obviously is not the case, because he's going back and it seems like every couple of years he kind of tweaks it and changes it, and now you got to add this, take away this. So to me, he's kind of learning this on the fly. But what makes it even worse is not so much Father Fish. I don't have a problem with Father Fish. I've talked to Father Fish a few times, and he's a decent guy. I mean, I don't have any issues with him. The problem is his followers, and not all his followers, but he's got like a core group of his, I call them minions, of his minions that are relentless. I mean, you can't be critical at all at something that you find out from what he's doing, because they'll come after you, with torches and stakes. But I don't give a shit. They can come after me all they want. I really don't I don't care. But yeah, the problem with Father Fish is that and he said it, he did it for clickbait when he did the whole don't do water changes and all these other things. But there's some things like his basic way of setting up a dirted tank. I did it. I have my second aquarium. I did exactly what he was talking about back then. And I remember having a lot of issues with algae. A lot of that green hair algae.
Yeah.
And a little bit of blackbeard algae. Not too bad, but I had some. And I still like the results that I was getting once it's established, which it took it almost a whole year before it kind of settled down.
Mm-hmm.
Once it's kind of released a lot of those excess nutrients into the water column, and you've done the water changes. But I remember in the beginning, I used to dread it because I was doing water changes like every 3 days, just trying to keep up with the nitrates. And but it wasn't until after about a year, once it kind of settled down, that it kind of gave me results. And I said, you know what, there's got to be a better way to do this. So I started personally tweaking around with the idea, because his whole initial one was you did an inch of potting soil, and then you did 2 inches of just a sand cap, and that was it.
Yeah.
And
That's all I
then
did.
a lot of people started doing it, and I would watch his live streams, and people were having the same issues I was, and his answer to that was add another inch of dirt, and add another inch of not dirt, sand, because you're getting release into the water column and this and that. Well, by the time it's all said and done, I've shown that aquarium, it's got about 6 inches of just substrate, because it's just all these layers of sand that I was trying to cap up those excess nutrients.
I think I got a 5 inch in the 55.
Yeah, it's
I
anybody that's
didn't add any sand though. I just like I used in that tank. This one I just used standard topsoil and the Stony Creek substrate that I had, and that one's a 4 inch substrate. Together with the two, 2 and 2. On the second one, on the 55, I put in premium topsoil at Menards, and that's what. Yeah.
well,
Go ahead.
yeah. What I ended up discovering was you could get away with doing the any soil. I don't even care if it's the Miracle Grow or the enhanced. If it, one of the things that I always wondered is why do they want you to use the strictly organic one? And I remember having a small bag of like the regular Miracle Grow, the one in the yellow bag that's not the organic.
Right.
Well, what it has some little pebbles of Osmocote in it.
Okay.
So,
And they
so
float it out, right?
well, no, I was looking at it and I started sifting it through this strainer that I had that's like almost like a screen mesh, and that's how I realized, because I allowed all the regular soil to pass through, and at the top I had all the little wood trimmings and stuff, the barks and all that stuff that's in there, and that's where I noticed that it had the little capsules, the Osmocote capsules. Well, I don't know if they're, but they're like little pebbles, and I said, oh, okay, so it's an issue with this stuff not being in the substrate. But I used that same soil and I was able to do a dirty tank. But my workaround the whole thing was, I know the soil works, but how can I avoid getting the hair algae? So my first initial thought was, well, cut back on the soil, on the amount of soil. It's there's got to be, maybe you don't need that much soil. And the next one that I set up, I did that, and it worked out better. I still had a little bit of an issue, but not nearly as bad as what the original setup was. Well, after doing that, a few months later, I find out that Father Fish now is talking about, oh no, don't use the whole, or no, he was at a lot more, like 4 or 5 inches
Yeah.
of a cap, and I was like, holy shit, okay, well, yeah, that'll result, but
I think if I do anything, if I was to ever do anything different and do another dirted tank, I think I would maybe go like a 1/2 inch or just a bag, a thin layer, and then maybe put like 2 inches of that special, like the special kitty litter, because of the clay in
yeah,
it, and then maybe then a bag of that, and then a bag of, or and maybe just a bag of sand cap, just so that the Corys can do their thing. And if I was to ever dirt again, I don't.
yeah. What I ended up doing, and I've shown it in my videos, I'll take about 2 cups of potting soil. This is for like a 20-gallon.
Right.
I'll take 2 cups. I'll pass it through the sifter just to get rid of all the bulk material. Just leave the actual soil itself, and I'll mix it in with kitty litter and a gravel. So basically, I'm cutting the amount of soil in there. It's enough just to jumpstart your plants, because eventually the waste from the fish and all that stuff is going to keep it going. So, and that's what I've done. I still do all my aquariums are dirted, but instead of just putting like an entire just straight up soil, it's basically portion it out. It's a mixture of like I said, maybe 2 cups of dirt mixed in with some kitty litter and some gravel or sand, and that becomes my base, my 1 inch base layer. Then cap it off of whatever. And so far, that has really worked for me in not getting a lot of the hair algae. And so that's what I've been doing. all these other new aquariums that I set them up exactly the same way, and I haven't had an issue yet.
I'm gonna jump back here real quick because when we were on the skeptical thing,
Oh,
I said something about Discus North, and folks, I want you to understand, I don't dislike Discus North. I subscribe to his channel. I feel like I can learn something. You know, if I ever decide to keep Discus, maybe I go the route like he's showing, and that's what I love when he does is when he's showing that and just kind of puts aside the bashing part. I get why he stands up for himself, and I can highly respect that fact that he does. If he's got a bunch of the cronies, you know, coming down his throat all the time, you know, I can see where he has to feel like he has to defend himself, and that's fine, you know. But I like the aspect when he's actually more talking about what he's doing, so that you learn from it, you know.
well, but here's the thing, because I know I had him on as a guest, and we had
Yeah,
that whole
I remember that.
debacle. But my biggest frustration is that I never really got to have a conversation with him. You know, regardless of whether I agreed with his point of view or not, I wanted to see what he had to say. Luckily, I was able to get him back on, and we talked a little bit about it. But here's the thing: you got to remember, not everybody has the same goal when it comes to their channels. Um, I I'm of the idea, and I've said this multiple times. I like to hang out. I like being able to interact with people like you or anybody that I get to interact.
That's how I am.
Whether my channel grows or not, then that's great if it does. But it's not my primary goal. My goal is to be able to become more integral part of the community and be able to interact with anybody anybody that I find interesting, anybody that I want to talk to be able to have that ability and have conversations with people, because I don't get to talk about fish other than this. This is the only time that I get to talk about the hobby. Uh, so uh, I know what he was doing and coming after this whole swamp water is, well, I guess he wants his channel to grow. What's the best way to get your channel to grow quickly is to be controversial, which I can respect that. I don't have a problem with that. That doesn't bother me at all, because I understand what his goal is. I mean, I know that whether do I agree with it or is it something that I would do? Probably not. I don't. And it's not that I disagree. It's not what I'm looking to accomplish. If it's working for him, which obviously it did because it grabbed him some traction, well, kudos to him.
Yeah.
And I'm glad that that worked for him. And that's if he likes to have those interactions where he's going all these back and forth with people, that's fine too. That's what he enjoys. That's not for me. It might not be for you, but at the end of the day, our goals are very different, and that's fine. I can respect that. I've never had an issue with people doing stuff on their channel to make their goals and outcomes or whatever it is. Shit, if somebody wanted to use me and talk about me, well, that's on them. That's what they want to do. It shouldn't really bother me because I know who I am and where I stand and what I do.
Craig, you're very right. When Father Fish gives you a compliment, even though you're not using the Father Fish method, about how he likes your fish room, looks amazing, and it does look amazing. That's a very high compliment, and he's giving you a high compliment because he likes what he sees.
Yeah.
Well,
and that's what I was telling you. I've had interactions with Lou, and Lou's a great guy. I mean, he's fun to talk to. It's just you got to understand that he got to a point where he decided, I want to be a big channel, so he went about doing things that would get him those results. He hired on. Oh, Kevin, there he is. He went about doing what he needed to do to get those results. So it's one of those things where you can knock somebody for. I understand some people's frustrations where it's like, well, they said this and now everybody believes them. Well, everybody also has common sense, and it's your responsibility as like I took his information, and of course, not knowing any better, did it the way he did it. It didn't work for me. So what did I do? Instead of saying, "Oh, he sucks" or this and that, I found a solution to my problem. That's all I did. I said,
Exactly.
all right, well, that obviously is not working for me that way. Let me take this concept and tweak it to see if I can make it fulfill my needs. And I did. But that's, that's with anything else. That is with anything in this hobby. Take that information. If you can apply it to what you're doing and it works, great. If you feel there's valuable information in that, but it didn't work for you, but you can tweak it to make it work or fulfill your needs, then that's just it. I mean, I don't know. I always get so hung up on, oh, but so and so said this and now it all failed and it's their
Yeah.
fault. Well, you know,
Well, you're the fish keeper. You're the one doing it. Did
but this is the thing too, though. With this hobby, you're going to have a lot of failures. That's part of the learning process.
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, I don't think there's a single person here who hasn't done some mistake, committed a mistake where you ended up either killing off some fish or you killed some plants or you did something wrong because you took a misstep. But I guarantee you, as much as that sucked, you learned from it and you go, okay, I'm not doing that again.
Yeah.
and you've taken steps to not do that, not to repeat that, because you know that whatever it is you did was not successful. And sometimes things are just out of your control. Like I've been very fortunate. I've never had a runaway heater on me, but it seems like that's a real common issue with a lot of people. So what's the fix to that? If that happens to you, well, you're going to find a way where you're going to try to prevent that. How can you prevent that? You find these systems that'll cut off your thermometer or your heaters after they go up to a certain temperature. If that's an issue for you.
It's funny you said that because I just said to my wife the other day, I'm like, you know what? I need to start looking at heaters for these tanks because I don't have like those ink birds. And I'm like, 3 to 5 years is probably pushing newer ones easily.
Does your house get very cold in the winter?
Well, we're in northern Illinois, so yeah.
No, but don't you run a heater or something in your
I run
house?
my furnace. Yeah, I run my furnace, but it's
What temperature you keep your ambient temperature?
We keep it. I think at like 7. I think she does 70 degrees. I think for the furnace, and then for the AC, she does 68, I believe.
So about
and I'm downstairs with 2 of my tanks. So
okay, downstairs you have. Okay,
it's a lower level, so it's a tri-level home.
Okay.
Yeah.
But the whole house is heated, right? Except for the basement?
Well, I even have ductwork down here too. So, yeah.
I'll tell you what, most of your fish are just regular tropical fish, right? You don't have any.
I have, like in here, I have the endlers and some guppy.
Okay. Yeah, those would be fine.
Swordtails are in that one. I'll have mollies and lemia in that tank soon. And then the upstairs tank has nothing but tetras and bushy nose female.
I'll tell you what, I don't heat my my aquariums, and I have them in the garage.
No,
I run a space heater in the area, just to kind of keep the temperatures somewhat. I think I have it set up at 75 degrees. It kind of keeps the ambient temperature around 73. My aquariums ran about 68, 66 all winter long, and the fish were fine.
Right.
The thing is, and this is what I've learned, as long as you don't have any gradual swings, what I mean by that is if you're going from 78 degrees and all of a sudden you drop it down to 68 degrees, yeah, your fish might not like that. But if you were to turn off your heaters now and just let it run at your ambient temperature in your house, your fish are going to be fine, and they're not going to suffer unless there's areas that are getting down below 50 degrees.
Yeah, I never touch that.
So. Yeah, so
even in the dead of winter when it's like below 0, we don't.
You're going to find out that the fish are going to be fine. The only thing they'll do is they'll slow down a little bit more than normal, but once the weather starts warming up again, they'll be fine.
Kevin, hello. I'm behind in chat, so okay, I thought so too.
Yeah, there you go. Kevin runs them at 68.
Yeah.
Oh, he does run heaters in the basement.
Yeah, Tommy, thank you for coming.
Yeah, I found out that the fish don't do too bad. And here's the other thing: you have enough experience now under your belt that the minute you start seeing issues, the biggest issue is going to be ick, because that's what stress creates ick. If you start seeing ick pop in, then just pop a heater in there, drop some medication, and you'll be all right. You'll be able to clear it out
Green
pretty
algae
quick.
will die.
Huh?
Wonder if the 55, it's a green water tank right
Oh,
now. I actually slapped. My thinking was, okay, you know what? I've got probably way too many nutrients because I fed Spectrum Life, and it has a lot of phosphates in it, and um I've been feeding it and just like once a day and just like kind of just kind of and it's just, so I think I overdid the phosphates because I did a test last week for my nitrates thinking maybe that's what was doing, but it's all green water. So I just slapped another light bar on thinking, okay, you know what, maybe the excessive light will kind of speed things up a little bit.
yeah. I finally was able to do. I had never been able to get green water in any of my aquariums. I could do it outside in a bucket, but never in an aquarium. That's been set up.
I'll send you some.
No, I just finally did that with the what is it, like a 33 gallon? It's kind of like a 29 gallon but taller. It's the same dimensions. It's just a few inches taller.
Yeah.
And the water's starting to turn green. But the thing is, I have like a light houseboat. Those incandescent boats.
Yeah.
And it's on 24/7. That's the only light I don't have in a timer.
Oh,
And I
okay.
said, oh, okay. I'm finally turned an aquarium that's starting to turn green.
I see people say it doesn't hurt the fish.
Nah,
And that
it's
it's
aesthetic.
and that like being that there's live bearers that in that tank, with the swordtails, that they'll have places, they'll have little microfauna or whatever to eat. So I'm like, okay, well, I'm just trying to get it back to where I can at least see the back of the tank. If it's a light green, I can live with it.
Yeah,
Father fish.
if you really want to,
Okay. I'm just
if
trying
you
to
really
read.
want to fix it, I mean, you can not feed it for a while. The fish will be fine, and just take the lighting off of it, and it'll gradually start changing back.
Yeah, with the plants, I had it set less, but like I said, I was trying to kind of maybe go the opposite way and try to make everything work harder to.
You ramped up everything.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to try that with the heaters. I didn't, I didn't think anything about that, you know, before. So I figured, oh, okay, it's tropical fish. I better at
Well, you
least keep
see,
it
that's the whole thing.
75, and
You gotta
so
be you gotta try it out. I forgot who was I watching. I think it was LRB, and he doesn't run any heaters either on his aquariums. He doesn't run any air. He does he does a lot of shit you're not supposed to be doing. And that's the only
LRB.
reason I like him, because he's kind of like me. He's willing to
Yeah.
push the envelope. I finally redlined a tank that I finally crashed because I was not doing any gravelback, and I found out that if you're breeding bristlenose plecos, eventually you're going to have to vacuum the substrate because there's not enough nerite snails to be able to work that into the substrate. That I ended up crashing that tank. But now I know that I can push it very far, but there's a limit. And so that was a lesson that I learned, that is like, okay, yeah, eventually I gotta gravel back, because it was getting pretty thick with moam on the bottom. And I don't know if it was the moam, the excess moam, because it'd been years since I gravel back that aquarium. I mean, I did water changes, but I wasn't gravel backing. And I don't know if it was my old male that died, and then the way I structured it, I gave it too many hiding places where I couldn't see what was going on.
Okay.
So either he died in there, I didn't catch it, I was working, I think I was working graveyards at the time, so I wasn't really coming in the fish room too much. He must have spiked, the ammonia must have spiked because he died, because he was a big dude. I had him for almost 4 years, and I didn't catch the ammonia spike, and it just wiped out just about everything in that aquarium.
Craig has
But
never had a green water tank.
yeah, this is my first one that I've been able
Yeah.
to. that
Well,
that has been
Craig, the
in the
way you
aquarium.
clean your tanks, there's no way anything. There's no way algae's ever going to be developed because you clean your tanks
Who,
way.
Craig?
Yeah,
Oh yeah,
I mean I love it, but it's
yeah. He's got issues. Craig's got issues. I only say that
it
because it makes
works.
me look lazy.
It works for him. So
Oh yeah, no, he's got beautiful takes. But I
yeah,
say that because then I
Jesse
feel
says the same
inadequate
thing.
because I'm not doing what I'm supposed to be doing.
Yeah, Jesse says the same thing. I heat my whole room instead of the individual tanks.
And there's less of a chance of having a runaway heater.
Heater. Yeah, I was just like every 3 years getting new ones. Figure.
Yeah, and that's a big cost though, because heaters not cheap. The
Especially
cheapest
since
heaters is going to cost you what, $20? The
yeah.
cheapest heater you'll find out there.
Melvin is in the building.
Melvin.
All right, I made it down to the bottom of chat. And like with my under gravel filter tank upstairs, I don't vacuum it. I just, and it was funny is I threw some guppy grass, like a wad of guppy grass in there.
Yeah.
I was taking some of it out today, and I stuck it in the gravel, and I have a 4-inch level of pea gravel in there.
Yeah.
So I threw some guppy grass and I tucked it in the rock, and I figured, okay, well, once it rots, it'll just float up anyhow. Well, I start pulling it out, and I'm like, holy crap, this stuff rooted.
Yeah. Yeah, it'll root pretty good.
Yeah, Craig was just saying he's due for 50 new heater. Oh, that's an expensive cost.
Yeah, that's why I went without having to buy all these heaters because it was getting too expensive.
Yeah, and expensive to do 200 tanks. Yeah, I only have 3 tanks. So I have 4 if I bring that little 5.5 gallon out.
Although the only heater malfunctions that I've ever had have really been my fault. That I go to do a water change and forget to unplug it,
Yeah.
and I crack them. But that's other than that, I've never really had an issue with them. And then I just got rid of them because
Lori, I'm glad you're here. I
don't want to pay anymore.
We need to add some mods.
Oh, Lori. I saw Lori come in, Melvin, Tommy, Jesse.
I think I'm going to add Tommy too. There he is. I'm going to add Tommy. And maybe if Whip shows up, I mean, you know what? I'm going to add you, Jorge, because you're always out. You're always constantly stopping in.
So. Well, I'll be lurking.
Yeah, you were you saying the last stream that you usually lurk a lot?
Yeah. I usually I'll be listening a lot more than although recently I've been kind of MIA. I've been busy doing some other stuff, and May is usually a pretty busy month for me.
You're going to be a managing one, so you know.
Oh, okay. Thank you.
You and Lori are managing right now.
All right, people. We get to kick people out.
Cause I'm bad. I'm bad.
Oh shit! What am I doing?
You watch. I'm going to get a copyright strike just for doing that line.
Oh, for singing that little.
It's funny. I remember one night I did Blinded by the Light, slapped it up on my YouTube channel. Thinking, okay, it's a fish channel. They'll never catch this crap or never pay attention to it. Sure enough, by the time I got up the next morning, there was a strike sitting there.
Was it a warning or was
it was a warning that if I didn't take it down within 24 hours, then the money, any money made would be going to them and blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, and that they would strike me. And I'm like, okay, whatever. I'll just take it down. The people I wanted to see it saw it. So
yeah, I don't know. I guess I understand because, the artist needs to get.
They need to get paid. So.
Yeah.
Exactly, Lori. Hit that thumbs up. that AI gets it. Yeah. AI is so damn. It's like there's so many different versions of it out there.
What was crazy though, I
It's like,
forgot who was singing their own music and lyrics, and they got copyrighted on their own song.
Tommy. I think Tommy got nailed for doing paintings.
Yeah, I know he got
With
nailed for
copyright.
that, but
Yeah.
what was the copyright? That's what I don't understand.
Yeah, it didn't make any sense, and it was like, but he was just doing his own paintings, and he got nailed. Oh, sorry to hear that. I'm glad everybody's okay, Lori. So I know my brother-in-law. I was just saying earlier, my brother-in-law, he's down in Missouri, down by Cary, Science Gal, and they got it missed their town, but ended up hitting over by where my niece is at in Granite City in Illinois. So I got a strike for making candles. Jesus. Mike and Hagen, is that the people that put the strike up against you, Tommy?
Mike and Hagen. Oh, Mike. No, not Mike. Jake was the one. I think.
Jake from Hagen. Okay.
Yeah, he was the one that got copyrighted on his own song.
Yeah, I remember that. I was on that. I was at that stream too. So
I was like, "What are we doing? Why are you striking somebody for their own personal material?
exactly.
How does that work?"
Harassment I got done for. That's crazy. And Lori, glad to hear that there's no damage and everybody's good. She had a tornado go through.
Oh.
Yep, BS. Hey, I hear you.
601.
Oh, good. The Maple Leafs are playing better than what they have in the last 2.5 games. That team was strong. Their goalie got hit like with a puck at the same time. Another player from the other team, hit him in the back of the head. So he ended up with such a hard concussion that he was getting sick over the boards during a timeout. Like he was puking into a bucket. And he tried to go back out, and they ended up putting the backup goalie in, and he hasn't been back since. So this backup goalie sucks. 143 minutes without a goal, and you're in the playoffs. You can't have that.
Yeah, I know. The only thing I know about hockey was watching Sports Illustrated magazine. I'll never forget this image. There's a guy on his hands and knees, and he's reaching for his throat, and blood is just gushing on the ice. I don't know who he was or who he played for, but that freaked me out. I said, I am watching this.
Philadelphia Flyers. I want to say it was Ron Hextall, maybe. He's a goalie that caught a blade.
So those things are really sharp?
Mm-hmm. For hockey, they are.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Vanoski, thank you for subbing and coming. Appreciate it.
So he basically took a knife to his throat. Is that what it was?
Yeah,
are they that sharp?
Yeah, it caught the jugular. And they were running out to him going, stop, because the more you move, the more the blood's coming out.
So did he actually nick one of the arteries or? Mm-hmm. Oh, yeah? Did he survive it?
They had to send him to the hospital to get it all, to make sure that it was stitched and not bleeding. And yeah.
Did the guy survive that?
Some of these guys, they play through like Brad Marchman. He was on the Bruins over the past few years. I remember in 2015 he was playing against the Hawks with Boston, and the Hawks is like one of my teams that I follow.
Blackhawks, or is that what it is?
The Blackhawks. They're my main NHL team. The only reason why I like the Maple Leafs is because I have family in Canada, and so I can't, and I watched them every Wednesday night for my for my life. And when I was up there, they close everything down on Wednesday nights for hockey night up there. But he had Brad Marchman, he had like done something like basically he's skating and his knees going like this, and he's playing through it. Yeah. Some of these guys take pucks that knock out 7, 12 teeth. They just spit them out and go get back out and play. So, Jose,
Yeah, no.
nice to see you.
Hey, Jose. Hey, thank you, Jose. I got the gift.
Have you seen what he gave me?
Ah,
Some mics, because I had on one of my videos. It's 2 mics and a thing that goes into your phone. I just got to do a video on it, and I keep saying, promising, I'll get it done this weekend, and I don't because my weekends get busy. And
no, he's a guy after my own heart because he sent me a coffee mug for coffee, and he sent me a sampler of some cigars that I can't wait to get into. Some Dominican cigars.
That's the one thing I missed when I had my heart attack in 16. I didn't care about the cigarette smoking, getting rid of that. It was the cigar smoke.
Oh, you
It
can't.
was like a family thing at Christmas time. We'd all go out to the garage, the guys, and have a smoke, have a cigar. And so,
Yeah, that's the one thing that I do enjoy, but I don't do it every day, so I think I'll be all right.
yeah, you should be good.
And I've never really smoked. I mean, growing up as a kid, though, it didn't matter if you didn't smoke because everywhere you went, restaurants, buses.
Mm-hmm.
We used to take a lot of buses when we traveled, so everybody was smoking in the damn bus.
I still get these guys that come in, contractors, and they got it sitting out their mouth and they're lighting it up, and it's like, yeah, that smells good.
Yeah, well, in the military, I was surprised I didn't pick up smoking while I was in the service because you had any downtime, that's all you did was smoke. I probably didn't pick it up because I used to hate getting pulled for detail to pick up cigarette butts because these guys wouldn't throw them in the butt can.
Oh yeah. Jose was asking you if any of those cigars were the brands you like.
Yes.
Yeah, it was a sampler, I guess.
Yeah. All of them were really good. I've had Monte Cristos, I've had Uphills, all of those. There isn't a bad cigar in that pack.
Uncle, nice to see you, sir.
Hey, Smiley. I saw Jim also came in. Jose.
Yeah.
Who else? Kind of snuck
Jim?
in here.
You said Jim?
Yeah, I thought I saw him.
Happy Aquatics?
Yep.
Oh, I must have missed him.
I could have sworn I seen him in there. It was Vinosky. Who else? Jose. Maybe I am.
I'm scrolling up again just to make sure I didn't miss somebody.
Oh, maybe I confused his avatar. I could have sworn I saw him. Huh? Maybe I saw incorrectly because
we got 11 people in.
Yeah, I guess I must have confused it with Lori's logo then.
Oh, okay.
Maybe.
Yeah, Craig says nothing better than a puff on a cigar.
I love it.
But I figure I'm going to be doing water changes every day on that tank, so just to see if I can battle it down to get that green.
Be right back.
All right. Yeah, I think that's going to end up being my battle. I'll probably take that one light off it tonight. It actually looks like it's made it worse. So probably not a good idea. I was probably thinking the wrong way. Oh no. That's not nice, guys. Let's see what the we're almost to 40. Well, oh, we're actually up to 42. Thank you all. Thank you all.
Yeah, 42 viewers.
Up to 42 subscribers.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. Well, I have it in subscriber mode only too, so
Oh, okay.
that may help, but I think that's kind of one of these things where it's like I've always felt like it's personal preference. I know it helps keep the trolls out, but at the same time, some people are like, "Oh, I don't want to wait 5 minutes," and
Well, again, it's what are you trying to accomplish? I guess.
yeah, just
What did
building the
Craig say
channel.
about cigars? Oh, wait. Oh, I
Hello,
get
Jesse too. He says that's cute. That must be just one more fish. Is Jesse too?
Oh, yeah.
I'm working on quitting smoking clothes. On smoking clothes.
Oh,
right
okay.
now.
That he smokes cigars here and there.
Okay.
Oh, those are Clover's cigarettes, aren't they?
Yeah. If I don't remember.
I never smoked them, but I gotta admit I like the smell of those cigarettes.
I never liked clove, so we have a young one in here. So be like fish. This is it's.
Oh,
Earlier.
this is his daughter.
Yeah, and it's his wife's channel, but
Oh, okay. Hello, Bethany.
Guys, get over there and subscribe. Be like fish. Get their channel up.
Yeah, I think I'm already subbed. I was finally able to. For some reason, the other day I couldn't go to the link that Jose had.
Oh, okay.
It wasn't working for me until somebody else. I think it was Curtis that finally dropped it and dropped the link, and I was able to go there because it was taking me straight to Jose's channel.
Yeah.
The weirdest thing because it was only me.
When we get going back to the under gravel filters, I remember I was debating if I was going to go back to using one because I had good luck with one in here, in my 46-gallon bow, because I've never had good luck in that tank. Nothing's ever spawned in there. Nothing's ever. So I was like, okay, I need to get back to something, that I know is going to work in there real well, because the bow fronts, I just, I thought, the tank was nice at the time, but, it's, I don't know. I think it makes it awkward to do things and stuff. And so I was like, okay, you know what? Maybe I'll go back to under gravel filter. Your under gravel filter when you were building the plenum, and Malik, Aqua Malik. Seeing your guys' 2 videos on using under gravel filters convinced me to go ahead and put one in. But then I took the concept of the deep 4-inch. I just did a pea gravel 4-inch substrate. Figure, okay, longer it takes. I don't have to vacuum as much. Let the under gravel filter do its thing, with the brown gunk underneath it. But that stuff will break down plant roots. So I threw regular plant. I've got swords in there. They're not growing very fast, but but they're still rooting. And when I pulled them up to check them, the roots are still white. So it's got to be doing its thing. Craig's saying he loves under gravels. I will probably keep this tank as the one behind me here, the Hex, but I am thinking about tearing down the 45 or 55 and putting under gravel in it. Yeah, Malik's a good guy. I love Malik. He's very knowledgeable too.
What time does Salient go in the morning?
Huh?
What time does?
Yeah. 8 or no? Oh, Saturday. Yeah, 8.
8 in the morning?
Yeah, 8 Central.
Oh, 8 Central.
Yeah.
So that's like 6 for me. And he goes for what, an hour?
Well, it says power hour, but I think sometimes he goes 2. I
Oh,
think it
okay.
just kind of depends.
All right. I'm just trying to figure something out.
Let me go pull up his channel real quick. I don't think I got him subscribed over here anyhow yet, so we need to. Get our subscribes up to the people too. So see if it shows. Here's his live trailer. That's one thing I don't have on here. We got him and I got to come up with some for a live trailer. Let's see here, lives.
Oh, for your channel for coming?
Yeah.
I've never done that either.
Well, Dee Dee made me a intro, and I can use it as an outro too.
Oh, okay.
For MyFishTanksAQuatics, she just took a bunch of stuff and put it together, and I like it a lot. So
yeah, I've seen the one for your regular.
Yeah. Well, he does go about an hour, sometimes a few minutes more, but because he's got like one 3 weeks ago that was an hour and a half.
Oh, he's the Eastern. Okay, that's why it's so early all the time.
Yeah, he's at 7. He'll be 7 Eastern, so 8 Central. Yeah, so he averages about an hour 10, and then he does have some that have run an hour and a half. That's what I'm seeing. So I kind of think it just depends on how the stream's flowing.
Yeah. Yeah, I think that's a big factor on a lot of the streams.
Yeah, I'm almost at 2 hours now, right?
Is that what it is?
Oh
yeah. Oh wow.
Yeah, an hour 56, and the first hour was me and you.
Well, that's fine. It's just like I said, I didn't know if it wasn't because I saw your live stream this morning. I had no idea that you were doing an evening one.
Yeah, I've been doing the evening one for, I want to say, because I was just doing it by myself for a while. I want to say at least 2, maybe 3 months.
Okay.
Give or take.
Oh wow.
And then but I always had like open panel, kind of like we're doing now, so I like the open panel. Like you, I like the interactions, even if it's just interacting with the chat, I like that. I would rather live stream and chit chat with people than do all that editing stuff. Yeah, an Eastern yellow belly.
Oh, they're talking about snakes? Yeah, they can keep all the snakes.
Well, the one I won't even say it because I saw Tarrant County, and a guy that I used to know who moved back down to Texas, he just got nailed for sexual abuse or something like that of a minor. Yeah. And this guy, I think he's been on meth and shit too. So, because he would hit me up like in the middle of the night and say something, and I'm like, in the morning, I'm like, dude, what are you talking about? And then all of a sudden, he would just go ballistic on me, and it's like, oh, whatever, dude.
This is a friend of yours?
Yeah, it was a guy I knew, and then actually another gal that I know, she's the one that posted it. But I saw the snakes of Tarrant County. And that's the county jail he's in right now. It's under. I'm assuming this is a poisonous snake, right?
Yeah, I think that's what they're talking about. I don't know much about snakes because I'm not a big snake enthusiast.
I remember seeing, it wasn't a python, but it was something on live PD. And they're bringing in the animal control guy, and he's doing this thing. He's reaching in this hole, and I'm like, oh God, dude, you are nuts.
Yeah.
I wouldn't even touch.
I I can't even watch the guys that do the sticking their arm in the water to do what they call it noodling.
Noodling, yeah.
I, I can't even watch that because I'm waiting for one of these guys to stick their
Come
hand in
out
the wrong
no
hole
arm.
and catch something unexpected. That is like, no.
Oh wow, good. Couldn't happen to a better guy. I'm sorry. When you bring the kids into it, you're a piece of shit.
Yeah.
Um, I don't know.
No, that's not. It's a
Not
different
the
guy.
same guy. Okay,
Yeah, it's a different guy.
it would be weird if that was.
No, the guy that Shirley was talking about was a guy that was part of the community, I guess. And
No, I still got 2 burritos here.
but
Thank you, though.
he had other issues because he would hit you up for money all the time.
Yeah.
Try to get him. He would always, at least me, he would hit me periodically. It was like, hey, you got $10 and hold me over for my prescription or whatever. And I'd be like, I'll tell you what, if you, because he would sell these little figurines that he would knit or crochet. I think that's the right term. I would tell him, well, if you do a crochet or something, I'll buy it from you instead of just giving you $10. But he never did anything. So that's how I got rid of him.
That was
And then
the
come to
fun
find
part.
out that he
That
was the
I
one that.
that was one of the things that I enjoyed when I'm with my DJing is that I had this one guy. He walked up and he made like this necklace. He called it something candy, but it was like he made a thing that said double J. It was like this big and it said double J on it and it had like beads on the necklace. And I'll tell you what, I had that thing in my bag and I wore it every show that I knew he was going to be there because I appreciated it, and
Yeah,
sometimes it's like the homemade stuff that's really cool.
yeah.
Texas is a little Australia. That's funny. Yeah, there it goes.
Yeah, he's not wrong.
Everything wants to kill you. I I want to move there actually, only so I can storm chase a little.
You got to be careful where you go in Texas because
Yeah,
you go to Houston, you're going to get washed out because they get
hurricanes
a lot of storms and flooded out all the
and
time.
hurricanes.
I think if I the little that I've gotten to experience Texas, I think my first choice would be Austin. My second choice would be San Antonio. And then after that, then I don't know. I think it's a toss up. Doesn't matter where you go. Dallas is just too big. Too many people. Too. I think Waco or something like that would be okay. Um, Close enough to be able to drive to a big city, but it's not really a big city.
Layla and my wife's entire family, and her mom, dad, sister, and her, they're all Dallas Cowboys fans,
Mm,
including Layla. I'm the only Bears fan, so we would end up moving. If we moved to Texas, it would probably be Dallas.
Dallas.
Yeah, and it would be in city. So
Yeah, no. The older I get, the less I want to live in the city. The more I can appreciate living out on the outskirts.
it's kind of where I'm at here. Like Woodstock's it's a very small town, so everybody knows what everybody else is doing.
I'll be right back.
All right. Well, the stream turned out to be a lot better than I expected, guys. So, and thank you all for coming. I appreciate it a lot. Take another bite of food here. Stephen P's he goes in 30 minutes. So I will probably cut it with like 15 to go or something, so that everybody can get over to Stevens. So that, oh, that is so cool. That is very cool. Yes, definitely. Sorry. That is great. Belinda got at her new job, she got a in a month, she got a nonverbal kid talking. That is sweet. Yeah. I'm glad it came out great too. Definitely better than I thought it was gonna at the beginning. You can ask Jorge. We were literally watching it. It's like there's 2 or 3. It was showing
Well,
2, then 3.
I knew it was going to be a little bit slow to get going because, like I said, I wasn't even aware of and
Yeah,
and I'm pretty nosy. I'm always going around watching everybody's live stream. I didn't even know you had one.
yeah. And it's been, like I said, this has come, the Northern Illinois Aquatics channel has actually come very quickly. So we're technically not even 2 weeks old yet.
Well, this would be fun. Who normally streams on Friday afternoons?
After me, sometimes Rico goes on at 1 my time. If he
No,
does
at this time in the evening. Sorry,
in the evening, there's an hour right between her, because I think LRB Alex goes.
Yeah, but most of us don't really go to either one. Well, Alex, they might. I know more people go to
Then
Alex's, but
Steven comes on at 8:30, and I just got the 30-minute warning for
oh,
that.
okay.
So like about quarter after, I'll probably stop so that people can go to the bathroom, get more coffee, whatever, and something to eat if they're hungry, whatever. Because I like going to Steven's stream too.
Yeah, I think that's where everybody goes.
And then I know David, Elfish, and Jeff usually go about 10:15, 10:30.
Yeah, but that's late at night.
Yeah. I usually stay on that one for about an hour, and then so yeah, Rico. Well, he's been very sporadic over the last, because of illness or whatever. Over the last, he went. I want to say it was last week or the week before. So yeah, wow, in a month, that's phenomenal. I know I still have some stuff to set up yet for for this channel, but it's
So, are you going to do this a weekly Friday night?
we're gonna try it every week. Yeah,
Okay. Yeah, because I'm always looking for something, especially when I'm at
sitting
the
at work.
office.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So what
There's
do you
time.
exactly do? I've always been curious about that.
What's that?
What do you do for a living?
Apparently nothing.
Oh,
no, no. I work in a control room. I work in a control room, and
oh, okay.
I work on the river operating the dam.
Oh,
So basically, what I do, I stare at computer screens all day and make adjustments accordingly to make sure the flow stays at a certain range.
yeah, right. Okay.
Yeah, that's pretty much what I do. There's not a whole lot of, especially this time in the afternoon. There's not a whole lot going on.
Going on. All right.
Yeah.
So your 43rd year as a nurse. Love every day of my job. My almost 40-year-old. a running nursing pro. Wow, very cool. Cert 3 and 4 and mental. Good for her. Very proud of her. I always like seeing everybody. Like I said, you guys have, I've said it many times on my channel. You guys are the reason why I like live streaming, and I can guarantee you during COVID,
A part-time. No, I'd go broke.
It was the fish fam that got me through COVID.
Well, I think that's what having this really helped out a lot of people and just kind of break the monotony of being at home.
Just having fish in general too, helps a lot. So. Well, let's see if I can.
Catsif Blueberry. Who's that? I've never seen that before. Oh, that's his son. Okay.
Oh, I was just getting ready to try to read it, and I'm in need of glasses. How's that pronounced?
Catsif Blueberry.
Oh, okay. Catsif Blueberry. So I need to go over there, and we're gonna sub his channel too.
Oh, now they decided to call.
Go to channel. Oh, I'm number 5. Look at that. Cats of Blueberry. That's definitely a unique name. Here, Jose, let me I'm gonna make you a mod too, so you can pop that link in there. See, it'll be a standard. There we go. All right, you should be good now. If you want to drop I thought about being a sober bartender.
Is that possible?
It can be. You just can't accept, you just don't take the drinks from people.
So what's the point of being a bartender?
I just thought it would be interesting for people to be like, yeah, I just have my bartender got me wasted. He's sober. Well, I look at it this way, like me with my karaoke stuff. I play in the bars. I go in the bars to sing karaoke too. So
yeah, but that's singing. That's not.
Yeah, but I'm
bartender. You're actually serving drinks.
Yeah, but I'm I've always wanted to own a bar, so
that would be fun.
I think it would. I think my wife would like it more. Let her do that, and I just do the karaoke stuff.
A karaoke bar.
Yeah. And thank you for the sub. Appreciate that. What time is it? Okay. Still got a few moments. They just did it to torture you.
Why am I not surprised Tommy would not keep his mouth shut?
Yeah, but see, I'm like the opposite of him. I kept my mouth shut and I still got my ass beat on a daily basis because I wouldn't stand up for myself. But then it was funny. It's like as I got older and like I just gotten divorced and I was sitting in a bar and one of the guys that used to beat my ass all the time was walking up and I go, you know what, dude? If you're going to fucking come in here and harass me, I was afraid of you then. I'm not afraid of you now. And like that. And all of a sudden he's like, just relax, John. He goes, I want to buy you a drink and tell you were probably the most toughest guy in school. And I'm like, how do you figure? You guys beat my ass on a daily basis. He goes, you were mentally tough. You never snitched us out. When they asked names, you just kept your mouth shut. So Yeah, I'm the opposite of him.
I was not much of a. I didn't get involved in too many fights in school. Just a
Oh,
few, but not.
yeah, I was bullied a lot. So,
Well, I was lucky enough that I played sports, so I didn't have to deal with the bullies.
yeah.
But I think I might have had like maybe 3 or 4 fights the whole time I was in high school. That was about it.
That's funny. I'm sorry, Tommy, but that's funny. So what really did it was I found out one of my principals was a lesbian, which wasn't a big deal, but at the time she was hiding it. I
Uh,
got in trouble and tried to blackmail her and expose her secret.
well, yeah, back then people were not very upfront about their sexuality because they
No,
could lose their jobs.
I thought I heard
So
Lefty was going through a situation.
mhm. I don't know. I don't envy teachers today because they can't do anything and they got to deal with the most rotten kids.
Mm-hmm. This is where I'm lucky. Me and Dee Dee are both older. You know, I'm going to be 60 in October, and she's mid 50s, I believe. Yeah. So we're raising Layla to be very respectful, and 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 we hear it. I hear it all the time. You know, on how good of a job we're doing, and it's nice to hear. Because it means we're doing it right. And, especially like we go to restaurants. If we're having a sit down dinner, she'll be like, people come up and they're like, "How old is she? 9? You're kidding me." She doesn't talk back. We're lucky. Yeah, one of my granddaughters, um, it's one of her hockey buddies is what we call him. He's the son of a season ticket holder for the Chicago Wolves,
Mm.
which is an AHL team, and but like he was rewatching a game and he saw Layla on the TV and he started screaming Layla. So she. I bet you she's sleeping, Dee Dee. It's homeschooling my kids, right? Oh, very cool. I know they're trying to get rid of homeschooling here,
I think they're trying to get rid of it everywhere.
which I don't find very cool because there's some kids just they need it. It's like I
Oh,
know
they
my
kind of indoctrinate kids if they're not in school.
well I know they um like my our one friend, she's went to a certain age and then they go to and then they're in public school now. Most of them, they all go get to that certain age. She's got 4 kids and 2 of them are already old enough that they're in public school, and then the other 2 she homeschools until they get to that age, and then this way they get that like you said, the interaction with kids, and because that's quite important. So, and that's why we put Layla like in private. We put her in a private daycare type setting when she was 2 years old, and she liked it. Tommy's saying,
About what? How much longer are you going to go, John?
Just probably about, actually it's 8:15. Why don't we go ahead and we'll call it now? This way, like I said, it gives people time to go to the washroom, get something to eat. If they go to Stevens and watch it.
Well, I'll make sure to put this on my regular rotation then, because I know I put the notifications on. So
Well, thank you.
next Friday, we'll see you again.
Yeah, like I said, Cody and I decided we are going to always have an open invite. So, and we can talk about whatever, as long as we stay away from politics and religion.
That's the fun stuff.
Yeah, that's the stuff I don't think we need the fighting on the screen though.
What do we do? That's how you go viral.
Well, we'll see how it goes one day. You never know. It could be a Friday night, and it's like, it's like, you know what? Let's play Russian roulette. Let's go. Might have to put it on Rumble that night or something.
So it'll be a real rumble.
So, well, if you have anything you want to say to everybody,
no, just thanks for letting me hang out with you, man. Yeah. This was fun.
Cool. Well, I appreciate you coming, and it's always our pleasure to have you on. So, and we're intending on doing a open panel every week. So we'll always find something to talk about. So,
oh yeah.
All right, folks. Thank you for coming. Go get yourself a snack and some coffee or your beverage of choice on a Friday night, and have a great rest of the weekend, and we'll all talk to you later.
All right. See you guys.
Northern Illinois Aquatics out.